Well, hello there. I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. How's everybody doing? Come on in, sit down, relax. After you hit that like button, y'all. All right, come on in, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, get a membership if you can. All right, everything there is below. I've got my goal up. If y'all want to contribute to that today, that would be great. Help support the channel. Good to see everybody. Now, this case is not an easy case, and this is part two. Three suspects now arrested after Jacqueline Mimi Torres remains were found stuffed in a container behind an abandoned house. Now, listen up, guys. This story gets more wild by the minute. And I saw Grizzly True Crime streaming this today, and I was like, oh no, maybe I shouldn't cover it. And then I saw the content and I said, damn, I already covered that times two, and now we got two more of those. So there's a lot of information in this case that you guys don't know yet. Either you watch part one and you don't know, or you watch Grizzly and you still don't know. Lots of information is coming behind the scenes from neighbors, family members, and the father. All right. So there's a lot of information in this case that just hasn't gotten picked up on yet. And rightfully so. It just happened. So come on in, guys. Relax, hang out. It's going to be a while. Mary says Connecticut in the house. God bless you always. What's up, Connecticut? How you doing? Welcome some of the people that I haven't seen in a while. Stacy, what's up? You would look lovely in green, by the way. Indy Isham, good to see you, and thank you for the $9.99 going towards the goal and supporting Guilty of Crime. Thank you so much. Big hugs to you, and shout out to all of you that are here. Mary Beth, good to see you. And Tony has been a member for 2 months. Thank you. Mary Beth, member for 5 months. Big hug and shout out to you. All right, guys, I hope you're ready because listen up. We want justice for Jacqueline Mimi Torres, and there's a lot today. All right, so first we're going to get into what happened. The timeline is a little bit crazy because this little girl has been missing for almost an entire year. And they just realized that now. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the timeline. What's up, Carrie? Good to see you. Also, the lady that called in the anonymous tip, she actually found little Jacqueline's body in that tote. There was a little tote, or like a blue container in the back of an abandoned house. And not only was she the anonymous tipster that called it in, but she found Jacqueline's body literally. So we're going to name her today. She's got an interview here. We've got family members speaking out, memorials. We've got the full court hearing with all three suspects now in custody and charged. And guys, they have prior arrests and prior convictions for similar things. All right. Yvonne Jimenez, thank you for going and giving us the $2 super sticker towards our goal. Appreciate it. My goodness, guys. I can't even say as much as what's happening today. So we got the named anonymous caller. We've got text messages from a woman that thought this was a grieving mother, and in fact, to find out she was actually probably the killer of her daughter. So we got another Jen Soto potato. However, she is locked up, and that monster that you guys and I speculated as taking his own life, nah, he's just a big old coward, and he got himself beat up in the process of getting arrested, you guys. So we're going to see that piece of trash, cockroach, dirty monster today. Okay. There's three monsters, and all of them were supposed to love this little girl, Jacqueline, and the school system knows they effed up too. All right. So I'm going to start off real quick with a statement from the school showing that the last time she was there was literally in 2024, last fall. This case is outrageous. It slipped by this crack and that crack and that crack and that crack through everything, and it wasn't discovered until this anonymous caller that's now going to be named tells us what happened. She's never going to forget this, guys. So prayers for her, prayers for all the victims, and let's just get into it. All right. So That's it. Let's start. Let me just throw this up real quick and listen to what the New Britain School District has to say. Now, they are working also on laws. All right. There's laws going on behind the scenes that we'll be able to update as we go. The Mimi law that doesn't let this happen again, because this shouldn't have happened in the first place. She shouldn't have went missing for a freaking year unnoticed. And guess what, guys? I'm coming to find out that when Mimi was actually missing and someone did go to check on her, that she had a fake person allegedly pretend like she was her daughter so that they would think that she was still alive. All right. So there's a lot in this case today. Good to see you, Nancy Jean. Mighty Mo, how you doing? Abby Poodle, good to see you. Rose, Sadie's mama, it's always a pleasure. All right. Connie Branch, thank you so much for being a member for 4 months. Although I think you've been a member longer, but hey, it's better to be in green than not, right? So get your memberships. Remember, we do merchandise giveaways, Foxy Box giveaways, and we give out memberships. And if you don't have, well, first you got to hit the like button. It's free. If you don't have a membership, you can't win. Anyway, that helps support the channel. So good to see you, Rosie, Mai Tai, all the mods. Thank you so much. All right, let's listen real quick to this quick statement from the school that basically says they effed up without saying they effed up. All right.
School district also releasing a statement regarding the withdrawal of Jacqueline Torres Garcia from the school district of New Britain. It said in part, quote, "We are deeply saddened by the tragic death of Jacqueline Torres Garcia, a former student who had been withdrawn from the Consolidated School District of New Britain in August of 2024. Jacqueline Torres Garcia attended kindergarten through 5th grade in New Britain." The statement went on to say that Jacqueline's mother withdrew her from the district at the start of her 6th grade school year and would be homeschooling her at their new address.
Now, this is bad. This hits close to me, guys. This is not okay. My daughter is in 5th grade, halfway through being 6th. I know all the processes I have to go to. I know when she's late, they want to know. They're so strict on that. And I don't know why this system failed her. With baby guilty, let me tell you, she's 5 minutes late. They're on the phone asking me what happened. Cladybug, oh my God, I'm new to this story and it's crazy already. Every story on Guilty of Crime is crazy, my friend. All you got to do is come in here, either watch a live or catch a show, watch on the Rewatch Crew. Almost everything that I stream is very disturbing and a trigger warning, but it's all for the better good and the voice for the children and the families that don't have one. All right. So just know that about Guilty of Crime and how we do here. Bree, thank you so much for contributing to our goal today. And hello, Jay, mods, and crime crew. I appreciate you, all of you guys. All right. So the school effed up, and they're saying it, but without saying it.
Farmington.
Hey. All right. So I just wanted to give that quick statement, and then we'll get into every freaking thing else we have today. Guys, questions remain about what led up to the girl's life being gone in Farmington, and the family speaks out. So let's listen to this, and then I'll read a little farther. We'll go into all of the charges and the questions and what happened with the dad. Why didn't the dad stop this? What the hell went wrong that this little girl went missing for a year and was in a container behind the house? And she was also in their attic. They are in the, I'm sorry, not in the attic, in the basement for a real long time until they moved. Saniba K, welcome to the Guilty of Crime Crew family. Good to see you. Cosmic Fraud, what's up? I like the name. Mary Joy, what's up? I give all y'all attention, whether you are green or not. All right. However, if you do have a question for me, QQQ, put your question up. Super chat or super sticker will also do the same. If you're not addressing me directly, I'm not going to answer your questions because, well, I don't want to interrupt your conversations in chat. She was thrown away. She was put away like a Christmas ornament and then thrown in the trash. All right. Like a piece of trash. All right. Listen. Here, let's just talk. I wanted to get this out to you. Family speaks out. I put a short up of this one. This lady says the moment that the mom got custody of Mimi, that she was done. She was like, that shouldn't have happened. The entire family now, looking back on this case, guys, is literally saying it was a mistake. And I have the real story behind what happened with Mimi Torres, all the way up from when Mimi was born, the jail time, the movements, who had her, etc. All right. So buckle up. There's a lot today.
Inhumane, disgusting.
Exclusive tonight, we're hearing from a family member of Jacqueline Torres, the girl whose remains were found in New Britain last week. Her own mother arrested for her murder. Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight for Eyewitness News at 6. I'm Erin Connolly.
Hi, everybody. I'm Stephanie Simone.
And this is an exclusive interview that just came out. This is not in Connecticut. It's in, I thought it was in Georgia. Wait, am I getting my cases mixed up? I think I am. Hold on real quick. Let me, is it Connecticut? I did this yesterday, and every time when I do it in the very beginning, I'm like, who, what, when, where, and now I'm on a part 2. So yeah, yesterday was, okay, yeah, my bad. Yesterday was Georgia. Today is New Britain, Connecticut. All right. Now, if you guys don't know anything about the case, and I'm just coming on here, all right, let's talk really quick. If you never came here yesterday, this is what we're talking about. Jacqueline Mimi Torres, a 12-year-old girl from New Britain, Connecticut, was found deceased in a plastic storage bin behind an abandoned home on October 14th. Well, I don't think that's the right date, October 14th. It had to have been on the weekend, October 12th, days ago. All right. Her remains were reportedly in an advanced state of decomposition, and investigators believe that she died in the fall of 2024. We have 3 suspects in custody that are now charged. We have Karla Garcia, her mother, Jonathan Nanita, the mom's boyfriend, and Jacqueline Garcia, the aunt. And all of them, guys, have $1 million to $5 million bonds with cruelty to persons under 19, murder with special circumstances, and a conspiracy, as well as cruelty, unlawful restraint, tampering with evidence, and improper disposal of a body. All right, we're going to watch all that and get into it today. All right.
The heartbreaking developments in this case continue. Yaxie Garcia, the aunt to both Jacqueline and her mother, is now sharing intimate details about the family.
And your reporter,
Yes.
Owen Kingsley, sat down exclusively with her.
So listen, guys, if you really want to know about this story and you want the real low, deep dive, this is where you want to come. I get a little bummed sometimes when I see a case that I'm streaming and Grizzly True Crime comes out with it, like, and I love her, but she'll come out with the same episode that I was planning and it's on an accident, and she comes and she streams and I watch it and I'm like, damn, yes. My episode is nothing like that one, except for the basic details, right? But we dig into what the family says, the vigils, what happens on the outside, behind the scenes, and trying to reach out to the people that are involved in the case. So that's what differentiates Guilty of Crime from other channels like Grizzly True Crime that sometimes we're streaming the same case on the same day. All right. And hey, whatever else you guys feel about her, I love Grizzly. I'm a Grizzly as well, but actually I'm not anymore. I stopped paying for the $6.99 membership because every time I went in there, she never talked to me. She just ignored me, and I imagine because I'm a creator. But if you see a case that's streaming the same day, just know that my episode's probably just going to complement what she streamed. All right. So let's dig into what the family has to say.
Joining us now live in New Britain, Owen.
A week since this memorial right behind me outside of the New Britain home where Jacqueline Torres' remains were found. When this memorial began, now overflowing with balloons and trinkets from her father and mother.
What police revealed to us is that she was starved.
It totally just skipped. Hold on. All right. So this just
flowing with balloons and
this just came out, guys, and I want you to know that everybody is coming together now, and now, right? They're rallying for little Mimi is what they call her, guys. Her name is Mimi to the family. So this family is going back to when she was born and talking about how her father was locked up, the mother was locked up, somebody else raised her, but the dad was really involved. I mean, she really just didn't have a fantastic, stable life. All right. And I love you too, Ali Callie, and all of my Guilty of Crime crew. All right. Exclusive interview right now. Family speaks out.
Trinkets from her father and mother.
Oh, I guess it's just
What
a
police
channel.
revealed to us is that
Thank you,
she
Foxy.
was starved and abused.
Right.
What goes through your heart as a family member?
Disgusted. Disgusted. I'm thinking, what was this little girl thinking? Her last moments, how fearful she was.
In 1 week since the discovery of Jacqueline Torres's remains, we've learned she likely died about a year ago, and her mother, Karla Garcia, is accused of hiding.
And her mother, Karla Garcia, is a big fat fraud. She's a liar. And in my opinion, she is only crying for herself. All right. And she's disgusting. She's a disgusting human being, lowest of low piece of trash you can get. All right. My opinion.
Her body since then. Yaxi Garcia is only 11 years older than her niece, Karla. She says she helped raise her, as well as Karla's sister, Jacqueline Garcia. She met Jonathan Nanita years ago when they began dating. She had heard from family that Jonathan had abused Karla.
He was beating on her, doing some crazy stuff to her.
Yaxi Garcia says Jacqueline Torres was largely raised by her father's side of the family.
And see, the dad kind of lost touch and the mom moved away on purpose. All right. So she did that to evade them. I also want you to know that because of the decomposition and possible starvation and abuse of that baby girl, it was really hard to identify what the cause of death is at this point because of that. Such a bad abuse case and decomposition. All right. Not even potatoes would claim this cucaracha. Synth, that's not a real question, my friend. Don't put the QQQs up. You're going to confuse our subs. All right. I do believe the father did the best he could. In hindsight, it's 2020. He probably feels like he could have done more, and I'd agree with him, but he's a victim in this case.
But Karla gained custody of her about 3 years ago, bringing her into a household with her and Jonathan.
When I found out that Karla had custody of Mimi, my jaw dropped. And I said, how?
Despite having gone on family vacations with one another, the family drifted apart in recent years. And Yaxi says Karla didn't let many people into Jacqueline Torres's life.
Sadly, I just found 2 pictures in my phone. She wasn't around our family.
Between that, being removed from New Britain schools, and Jacqueline's father moving out of state, Yaxi says that's how she believes the girl's disappearance went unnoticed since her death about a year ago.
I would have definitely asked questions. I would have made phone calls. I would have done anything that was in my power to find out what was going on.
On Tuesday, Karla and her sister Jacqueline, as well as her boyfriend.
And listen, we're going to watch this. It's only a 10-minute, but it's worth it. And thank you, John Negron, for telling me about the father. We have been looking at him. We know he was a businessman. He was arrested earlier on, but he was getting his shit together and trying to get his baby. All right. So just a lot of people failed Mimi. All right. This is in New Britain, Connecticut. I'm not sure about the Jennifer Dulos case. Wow, that Great Aunt is like 39 years old and she looks younger. Yeah, I heard that too. The father missed 3 court appointments for custody. That is terrible. But again, I would never victim blame him. I'm sure he feels bad enough. All right, he lived 5 minutes away from her, you say. Thank you for filling us in on some of that. It's all speculation until it's documented, but I appreciate it.
And Jonathan all made their first appearances in court.
Those are not my nieces. Those are not the girls that I raised. They look crazy. Like,
Yaxi is the one who shouted from the gallery while Jonathan stood before a judge.
yes, that was me. Even if Karla or Jacqueline was the one who came out last, I was still going to have the same reaction that I had.
Which was
anger, the outburst. You're a baby killer. You're a pig. You're disgusting. I hope you get what you deserve.
Yes, ma'am. We do.
The things that happen.
All right, so let's get out of this. I hate when we get these ads. Hold on 1 second. There's still an article there, but yeah, very sad. And again, this just came out, and I'm glad that I found it. Tiff, thank you for sending that to me. That was awesome to get. But we do have a lot more going on today, and we have the people that are arrested in court, etc., etc. So the father hadn't spoken to her since around her birthday, January 29th, 2024. The mother and her boyfriend and the aunt, whose remains were found in a plastic bin last week, appeared in court, and all of them are in court now. And you can see that family member. You hear the baby killer. Now listen, the boyfriend that tried to fake his own death and that you can see is beaten up. New Britain officials said he was in a stolen vehicle trying to get away from them. And that's the second time in a matter of hours that he was involved in a minor crash. And then there was a struggle. He got out of the vehicle and police put him in handcuffs. All right. They called medics, etc. But that's what happened to his face. He got in an accident with the stolen car and got beat up. All right. Now that was false too. The police said she was deceased. Yeah, they said the fall, but listen, John, I've got the timeline coming up. Why don't I give you guys the timeline? They say fall because they're not looking at the months, but let's take a look at it together. Everybody is saying that about the fall, and I'll have to agree with that being the fall. But when you start getting into the actual months, now take a look. All right, new details.
Abandoned home. Today, one by one, all three suspects faced a judge.
I got it.
The victim's own mother charged with murder. Her aunt and the mother's boyfriend also stand accused. But many questions remain about what happened to the victim. Your reporter, Amanda Callahan, is live in New Britain tonight, piecing together what we know. Amanda.
Aaron, not only are New Britain police and Farmington police.
And I do have the timeline. Law enforcement stated it incorrectly, and even AI. I went and did a backup of a backup, John. Now, trust me, I Google, I AI. I have 4 people that research for me, so I do have it. It's just they printed that incorrectly on what they're saying. And Legend of the Online Gamer, good to see you. It was nice to hear you on Turtle Island last night, being an awesome man. So shout out to Alex right there. He's looking for a wife, all right? And I like him. He's really cool. All right, let's keep going. Let's try to correct these people on that timeline.
He's investigating this murder, but also DCF is involved and the state's Office of the Child Advocate. And we know that Jacqueline was enrolled as a homeschool student, and tonight we're digging deeper into the months leading up to her death.
Yes, so we're going into the months leading up to the death and the failure of the school district and what the mom did to evade them, etc. I'll go into those text messages next so you can see what a piece of trash that this lady was and how she treated her daughter.
A shocking discovery at an abandoned New Britain property last week unraveled a death investigation of a young girl.
Guys.
Police say 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres Garcia was a victim of prolonged abuse, malnourishment, and neglect prior to her death, which they believe happened in the fall of 2024. But Jacqueline's remains were only...
Yeah, they keep saying the fall of 2024, and that's where they're going wrong because it technically wasn't a year since she went missing, and I wish they would just say the month instead of, oh, it's the fall. Listen, we can go back to January 2024. People saw her on her birthday, and then we from January 2024 until January 2025, that's a year. So you got all of those months in between, and they decided to say the fall. So let's look a little closer.
Just discovered last week in a plastic container. We're learning more about the timeline of when Jacqueline disappeared. No missing persons report was ever filed, and according to the Consolidated School District of New Britain, she was last seen in a classroom in the 2023-2024 school year. The district confirmed that Jacqueline Torres Garcia attended kindergarten through 5th grade.
Yeah, this hits me right here as we're looking at the timeline of her death and what led up to it. Man, guys, K through 5 in New Britain, and then she goes into 6, and then it's just all over the place. They didn't even know where she was. This little girl, this beautiful little girl that you see right there, was lost for like a year. And when she was found, it was her remains.
in New Britain. On August 26, 2024, which would have been Jacqueline's first day of 6th grade, her mother, Karla Garcia, filed an official notification of withdrawal out of New Britain School District form, stating that the student's new address would be in Farmington. Jacqueline's mother, Karla Garcia, and mother's boyfriend, Jonathan Nanita, are charged with her murder, and Karla's sister, Jacqueline Garcia, charged with intentional cruelty. A judge ordered all three to have no contact with one another, along with 4 unidentified minors. We know from court paperwork both sisters have other young children. Meanwhile, Nanita appeared in court visibly bruised and injured.
What a piece of trash. I blame him the most, only because, actually, I blame the mom the most, and then him secondly, in the way that he faked his death and tried to outrun them. What a coward. I hope he gets beat up even further.
He's unemployed. He's homeless right now. He generally does warehouse work. He has no means to make any kind of a bond.
New Britain police arrested him last night in Waterbury after police say he attempted to speed away from officers in a stolen car. They say he crashed and ended up in a struggle with officers who were attempting to take him into custody. The 30-year-old was evaluated by medics on the scene before he was taken to New Britain PD, then Farmington Police. All 3 suspects are due back in court on November 14th. The bond was set at $5 million each for Karla and Nanita, $1 million for Jacqueline. All 3 arrest warrants have been sealed for at least 2 weeks.
All right, so that's what we're going to get into, guys. Let's keep going. Let me show you some of the charges so you can see it, of what they have. And also, let me tell you quickly what the story is from the family. All right, so right here you can see a real story of what happened that was given and accounted for. I'm going to tell you that real quick. All right, so you guys do me a favor, hit that like button. It's free to do, and share it with your community. All right, and I thank you. If I didn't, Foxy, thank you for that membership, and if you received it, thank you. All right, I don't have the amount of children Karla has. We believe there's 2, but we're not exactly sure, Marissa, just yet. All right, so coming from the other side of the family, we're going to start quickly when Mimi was born. Now, Mimi is Jacqueline Torres. All right, Mimi was born. Karla is her mother. When Mimi was born, Karla, her mom, was already in jail, is what they say. So maybe she was born and then she went right into jail. Her father, Victor, was locked up too. So his mother, Patricia, and you guys are going to hear from Patricia because we're going to talk about the grandparents, and the grandparents are going to speak. Okay. So Patricia actually is the one that took Mimi home and raised her. Now, even from behind bars, her father, Victor, stayed involved. When he came home, him and Karla got back together and they had Nina. All right. There's child number 2. Victor and his mom both raised Mimi and her sister Nina for over 8 years. At that time, little Mimi and her sister had structure, love, and family, according to the family. All right. Karla, the mom, hated that. Hence why she was so jealous. Remember, we talked about jealousy, Jen Soto, Maddie Soto, the whole saga. Karla hated the love and stability and structure that Mimi had. She was on child support and constantly tried to get Victor locked back up. So I hope this makes more sense to you guys, that this piece of garbage mom didn't want to pay child support, so she got her child back. And then she got her child back and she was jealous of her. Hence, the abuse started around 8-9 years old, up until when the 8 years. Okay. Now, Patricia even offered to pay off Karla's child support and gave her extra money if she'd just leave Victor, and it didn't stop her. Right. Eventually, Victor met somebody new and had another child. That's when Karla snapped. He later moved to Florida and built a business and a home so that his daughters could have a better life, planning to bring them once he was set up. But since he couldn't take them right away, Karla, the momster, went for custody. All right, now Victor tried to get custody, but that's when DCF, or maybe a guardian, ad litem, stepped in and somehow sided with the mother, Karla. And after that, everything spiraled. All right. While living with Karla, one of Victor's relatives had a child. that went to school with Nina, the sister. So they started sending their own children with extra food and snacks to ensure that Nina wouldn't go without. Now, when asked about Mimi, which is Jacqueline Torres, Mimi, Nina said that she was with her friend, all right, and saying that Mimi attended a different school. So this is where the evasion started, all right? Yeah, that's the father's version of events. And I just said it's the family's side. It's the letter that they released. I just kept it as the family so we don't get it twisted. But thank you, John. I appreciate that. That's the letter I'm sharing with you. It's coming from the family. They call it the real story. All right. So now Mimi, now this is where the evasion starts with the family. All right. Now they ask about Mimi, the family, and Nina says she's with her friend and saying Mimi attended a different school to get rid of them, throw them off. Now, the friend might have been alleged, a DCF friend, Karla claimed that she sent Mimi to stay with when she healed, or it could have been part of a cover-up story. I think it was part of the cover-up story, but that's just my speculation. All right. To find out, Victor's family asked another one of their kids who was enrolled in the school. Nina said that Mimi attended just to check it out. And guess what? Mimi wasn't there. All right. Now, we don't know if she wasn't there because she was already not alive or being heavily abused or starving, but we did hear about the starving, and we now know that these monsters were starving her. We heard about that before. Yes, that's part of it, in my opinion. All right. Okay, so Mimi wasn't there. They checked on her at school. They were looking. They were evading. That's when the family says they knew it was wrong. So they started reaching out to Karla, who's the mom, but she blocked everyone and she took her other daughter, Nina, out of school before disappearing completely and telling people that she moved out of state, guys. So she was bouncing from house to house, mostly homeless, like you heard about that monster on there. He was homeless, and she kept her location a secret, claiming to be dodging her abuser. All right. Now, after Mimi was already gone, Karla was still collecting child support and food stamps in her name, which I speculated yesterday that they can also charge her with fraud and take all of her commissary and anything that bitch gets in jail, take it away and make her pay restitution and make her pay that fake child support and all the money they gave her just to mess up her jail stay. All right. Now, she was getting food stamps and collecting after her child was already dead. She was collecting food stamps and child support, and she still wasn't feeding her daughter before they took her life. She was sending the dad, Victor, pictures of clothes and shoes, and she was pretending that they were Mimi's things that she wanted. Now, she was taking his money because he never stopped providing for his kids. From what's been pieced together, Jonathan was telling people that he killed a really bad man. Those people decided to look into it themselves at the abandoned house that he and Karla had visited before. That's where the police found the body, guys, and word spread fast that it might be Mimi. And I'm going to play the interview next with the lady that found Mimi's body and tipped it into callers. Now, when Jonathan showed up at that North Street house, he got kicked off the block because of those rumors. Now, word got back to Victor's family that the body had been found and that Jonathan was behind it. They went out and they found Jonathan and brought him back to the block and forced him to either take them to Karla or tell them where she was. This may have been where his facial injuries came in, but we can't confirm if it was from that or the accident. All right. And today is story time with Guilty of Crime, apparently. All right. Story time with Jay. All right. Now listen, that's speculation on how he got beat up, and I hope he gets beat up even further. Now, they did find her ultimately, and they made her go back to the address to prove the body wasn't Mimi's and to find Nina. The family tried to gain access but couldn't. All right. That's when Karla and her sister Jackie tried to escape, so that the family chased them in the car while on the phone with police. Officers caught up to them and took them in for questioning. Now, that's the video that I showed you in part 1 of them evading law enforcement and yelling and seeing the mom get arrested. She was only arrested to be taken in for questioning because she wasn't. All right, because she wasn't suspected yet. All right. Why is what being blocked? What are you talking about, Christy? What's blocked? All right. Now listen, we saw that video. Go back to part 1 if you missed anything. There's a lot to this. At some point during the chaos, someone called their aunt and Mommy Tutti. I don't know who that is, but AKA La Patrona Vega on Facebook. She showed up at the scene with Yaxie. Yaxie was the interview we just saw, and she was screaming at Karla and Jonathan had been riding around with Mimi's body in their Acura for over a week. Now they did take in the evidence, and they'll let us know if there's evidence in the car that there was decomposition. Hopefully it's still in that trunk if that's the case. They say she knew the whole time and never a word. Now, before the father ever heard that, another source had told him that Karla's family knew everything and was pretending to be shocked, you guys, possibly because they were helping her cover it up. And now that we know the aunt is arrested, we realize that she probably was covering it up. Okay. And sorry, I have this on the screen. I'm just reading it from there, but I'll add this so you can have a picture. All right. Now listen. Now, here's where we go into rumors. They're saying it isn't rumor talk. Both of the sources told him matching stories, and neither knew anything about the other. He made sure, the father did. Right? This is his story. He calls it the real story. Now, when the three were arraigned in court, Karla's family went to the court yelling at Jonathan, like we heard Yahtzee doing, calling him names, but staying silent about Karla and Jackie, the two sisters. Even though they were involved too, it all makes sense. They've already been covering for her for a while she rode around with Victor's body in the car. All right. Now, Victor and his family called DCF, but had no address to send them to. Mom had custody, and the family had no reason to think that the kids were in danger of missing, so there wasn't anything they can do. Now, I don't know what happened with the father missing 3 court dates, but Mimi was never reported missing because technically she wasn't. She was already being kept from them, the family, on the dad's side for a year or 2 before they killed her. But Victor and his family never stopped looking for her or waiting for her return. Now, he says there needs to be Mimi's law to make sure that convicted abusers can't parole into homes with children, so homeschooling can be used as a way to hide and abuse a child and keep them from parents and family. At the end, he says, may she rest in peace. All right. Now, let me put this back up real quick and show you the charges, and then we're going to get into this. I hope nobody's confused because it's a lot. All right. So here's the charges. Here's the people. If you guys don't know what the hell I'm talking about, these are the 3 arrested. In my thumbnail today, I said 3 arrested. Karla Garcia, Jacqueline's mother. She's charged with murder, special circumstances, conspiracy, cruelty, unlawful restraint, tampering with evidence, and improper disposal of a body. Now, I hope that they add charges, and I hope they add charges of fraud and theft and fraud of child support, welfare, whatever have you. She has bond at $5 million. Jonathan, the mother's boyfriend, has murder with special circumstances and conspiracy, also a $5 million bond. Now, Jacqueline Garcia is the aunt. She has $1 million bond, and they say cruelty to a person under the age of 19. Now, her mother already, I'm sorry, not her mother, the aunt already had charges of a child, of child either neglect or a reporting of hurt. Okay, so he missed 3 court cases. That's fine, but I don't want to take away from what he did do. All right, I haven't had that verified because I'm looking up Jacqueline's father and the custody battle, and it says while Jacqueline's father had not been publicly named in court documents or news coverage, multiple sources confirmed that Connecticut Department of Children and Family, or DCF, had prior involvement with the family. the agency launched a review into the handling of Jacqueline's case, which may include past custody arraignments and oversight failures. They don't have public record detailing the custody battle of Jacqueline's father, and they, however, given the severity of the charges and DCF review, it's likely that any prior custody disputes, especially if the father had sought custody or raised concerns, will come out in this investigation, and we'll find out a lot more. Okay, so these three people are now charged in her death, conspiracy, and more. All right, so let's pull this down, and we're going to now look at the woman that found her body. All right, so prayers, everybody. Hello, good to see you. Please do me a favor. We have 150 people in here. I was hoping that we'd have much more for part 2, but it's okay. Like, share, and subscribe. Get a membership if you can. All that stuff. It's free to hit the like and share with your friends. All right. Okay, now let's get into the lady that found Mimi's body, and let's say a prayer for her because she did, she did the Lord's work by finding the body and calling it in. All right, let's listen to her. She's now named. She was anonymous, and I'm so glad that she came forward.
A woman who claims to be one of the anonymous tipsters who found the body of 11-year-old Jacqueline Torres Garcia has now come forward, speaking at the young girl's memorial. Thank you for joining us here for the Fox 61 News at 5. I'm Tim Lammers.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. She recounts the chilling details of finding that storage bin, hoping it was just full of clothes, only to realize it contained a body.
Yeah, Fox 61's Jamel Johnson has her story on the moments leading up to that discovery.
Behind me is the abandoned home where police found the body of Jacqueline Mimi Torres Garcia. But a woman we spoke with who goes by Love says she and her friend are the ones who reported the crime to New Britain police.
All right, so prayers of this lady. Let's listen to her talk about finding the body and what she did, how she tipped it in. All right, hit that like button. We're about 4 away from our goal. If you can, help us with that. All right, we got a lot today. We're going to watch the hearing next.
Since her memorial was created, dozens of people have come to pay their respects to Mimi. One of them was Love, who says she was the anonymous tipster who helped New Britain police find the 11-year-old's body.
I wanted to believe it was a clothes bin of clothes. I really didn't want to believe it was a body. Your heart races. Your heart races.
Love says her friend knew the 11-year-old's mother's boyfriend, Jonathan Nanita. She says he started to leave breadcrumbs in their conversations about killing someone and where the body was.
He kind of just told the wrong person where she was, and we came and investigated it, and it was
And now listen, you guys just heard that backstory of the real story. So that story that story time with Guilty of Crime, that is leading up to what this woman is saying. All right, now let's keep going. Remember, this is in Connecticut, guys.
Body. Jonathan kind of told on himself, really.
Love says Nanita told her friend the person who was killed was a, quote, bad man and that they, quote, deserved it. She says they launched a self-investigation to find the body, but were shocked when it turned out to be Mimi's.
I was disgusted, but I had a feeling anyways it was a human because she did tell me that he said it was a bad man. So I was disgusted. I was devastated when I found out it was a little girl.
She says their discovery led New Britain police to this house on Clark Street where they recovered the storage bin, and the autopsy confirmed the body's identity belonged to Mimi. Since the discovery, police have arrested Anita, the girl's mother Karla Garcia, and her aunt Jacqueline Garcia. After learning about the prolonged abuse police say Mimi endured, Love wishes someone could have saved her, but says she's glad they found her when they did.
She deserves her peace. And I'm happy I could do that for her family.
New Britain police and DCF say they made contact with other children who belong to the family, but those children are safe. In New Britain, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
All right, now we're going to quickly just look at these monsters' background, and then we'll watch the hearing so you guys can know what the heck happened.
Raises so many questions. There are concerns her own family outside of those arrested, and state systems may have failed her. But
in my opinion, state systems did fail her. And when you see these monsters that are locked up now, thank God, They have a past. They have a criminal past, and things need to change. All right. They need to change.
We do know from police is that the 12-year-old appeared to be living with her mother and aunt months before her aunt went to prison. This is Jacqueline Garcia, the aunt of Jacqueline Torres Garcia. Police say she helped Torres Garcia's mother physically abuse and neglect the 12-year-old prior to her death. Jacqueline Garcia is no stranger to the law. In 2022, police started investigating Garcia after she brought her then 11-month-old.
So you see what's happening? These people, time and time again, they have records and nobody's questioning them. An 11-month-old? She was abusing an 11-month-old? What?
To the hospital for a broken leg. Doctors found multiple bruises and fractures on various body parts, some of which they say likely occurred when the baby was just 2 to 4 weeks old. Jacqueline told police her 2-year-old son or victim's cousins sometimes play rough with victim, but she has never seen any of them hurt victim. She denied hurting the child, saying the child fell off the bed. The baby's father told police Jacqueline often spent the day with the baby at her sister's and would call him to pick her up because she was drunk. In December of 2024, Jacqueline was sentenced to 10 years in jail, but that sentence was suspended and she was only.
So you see what's happening here with these, not only the laws of abuse, but these abusers and pedos are getting in and getting out with low repercussions, right? They're so immoral. And look at what happened. Serial abusers. Yeah, she fractured its head.
Ordered to serve 18 months in prison. She served 8.5 months and got out in August of 2025. She was on probation at the time of her arrest. Torres Garcia's mother, Karla Garcia, was convicted of assault in 2019, though records do not show who she is accused of assaulting. She was sentenced to probation for 2 years. Her probation ended in 2021. Karla Garcia was arrested in July of 2025 for driving without a license or registration. That case is pending. Karla Garcia's boyfriend, Jonathan Nanita, also has a criminal history. He was sentenced to less than a year.
What a good family that she has, right? Such a good family. I don't know why they didn't want the dad to see her. I can't imagine why they were hiding from anybody, right? Now we see why they were hiding.
Jail after pleading guilty in 2022 to reckless endangerment and interfering with an officer. We know from police and the mayor that DCF had been involved with the families, but we don't know when they first became involved. When we asked that question, a spokesperson said, "We're conducting a review of our involvement with the family. As our statement indicates, due to the ongoing criminal investigation, we've disclosed everything we can at this time." The Office of the Child Advocate says they will also investigate. In response to questions about Jacqueline being homeschooled, interim child advocate Christina Guillo said it is too early to draw conclusions, but added, "We know from previous investigations that some parents use Connecticut's complete lack of oversight of homeschooled children to withdraw their children from school, isolate them, shield themselves from reports to our child welfare agency, and neglect or abuse their children."
And guys, now that they're running this case and it's out in the public and it's gaining attention, all right, now that it's gaining attention, Connecticut, DCF, and the laws are looking at other cases in Connecticut, big cases of abuse just like this. Now, I had a video ready for you, but it's some reason not downloading. So just know that with the Jacqueline Torres Mimi case, that other children may be helped as well. So let's pray that these changes, and let's hope, not just pray, let's hope that some real action comes from what happened, because they are looking at they're giving it a second look to other children that this happened to, and nobody caught it. What's up, Jinx? Good to see you. I know every day it's a new one, right?
The I-Team looked into it and told you months ago that Connecticut currently has no regulations for homeschooling.
None,
The Child
guys,
Advocate
none.
says this is a known policy issue that the state needs to address, where homeschooling advocates say it's the fault of DCF and other state systems. We will continue to follow developments.
All right, so of course they're going to blame it on everyone else. Now we're going to watch the bond hearing, guys, with these monsters. So buckle up, hit that like button. You still have time to share it, all right? Let's go. Let's get into the bond and the monsters in court and watch this together. I'll try to be quiet as much as I can so we can watch this, okay? Because I do really want to get to the rest of my episode and put everything in there for you guys, because you know it's like learning time with Guilty of Crime. It's story time and learning time, and I may just give you a quiz at the end of the show. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. And Clar, much love to you. Appreciate it. And that super sticker towards our goal. Much love to you, Emily Jane. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. All right, let's watch this together.
28 years of age, residing in New Britain, has been there for 2 months. Lifelong resident state of Connecticut. Not currently employed at this time. Was looking for warehouse style work. Does have high school education and a little bit beyond that as well.
Hold on. And everything in Connecticut that we watch seems really low. So I boosted it as high as I can. And I put the words up top. So bear with me.
Medical issues reported to our office. Prior substance use. No mental health issues reported. In regards to cases, she is currently on parole. There is a parole remand lodged. She's on parole out of the case for New Britain, but on September 11th.
Turn your phone off, easy. What a piece of garbage.
In New Britain,
Trash.
September 11th, 2024, risk of injury to a child, 10 years, after 18 months of service with 5 years probation. The parole remand has been lodged. The max date for that parole is April 19th of 2026. That is her only criminal conviction on this matter. Bond was set at $1 million. Bail would recommend at least that bond remain as set for $1 million.
Matter did review this warrant. Given the facts and circumstances of the case, nature of the charges, the criminal history, state is going to ask that bond remain as set on the warrant at $1 million. State would ask for the following non-financial conditions of release. She's to have no contact with Jonathan Nenita or Karla Garcia. She is to have no contact with NG, date of birth April 25th, 2014. JN, date of birth April 2nd, 2021. MN, date of birth September 22nd, 2022. And AN, date of birth January 7th, 2025. We'd ask that she be ordered to cooperate with any DCF investigation and ask that this bond be posted only at court.
Okay. And would you be kind enough to provide those?
Now, remember, this lady is a monster, and I'm trying to get through all this with telling you everything that they've done. But I have a report from the child that she abused that was likely, it said there was a big radius on the child's head, 2 to 4 week old, complex branching skull fracture involving the right parietal bone, scattered I don't know how to, hemorrhages within the left cerebral hemisphere, most likely representing diffuse axonal shear injury. This is all legal, medical jargon, but you understand what's happening. They're saying that she abused this baby, the 11-month-old. It's documented that victim is up to date with the vaccinations at 11 months old. She went and did a wellness check. But she injured the baby's head, and they're blaming her for it. It's written down here that Jacqueline's a primary caregiver for the victim, which they called the victim. She was caring day and night. It says, and that no other than Jesus has been cared for victim since being discharged from NICU. It was documented differential diagnosis for the victim's findings were considered a multi-specialty evaluation. Anyway, it was trauma to the 11-month-old child's skull. So remember, this lady has a past history of child abuse as well. All right.
Yes, sir. I have provided them to the clerk's office and a copy to the court monitor. Yeah, I don't have any issues with those conditions of release with no contact. My concern is the cooperation with DC.
Really?
I'm not going to comment. Thank you. Judge,
Looks mean.
Okay, so with respect to this matter, I'm going to set bonds at $1 million.
$1 million. Done. Get out of here.
My attorney broker, I am not going to order the cooperation with DCF to the extent that I think that could have an impact on her privilege and self-incrimination. So the court's after that order as a condition for attorney on you.
Judge, I think 11:14.
Now all 3 people are here. We're 3 minutes in. We got about 7 more minutes, and it's going to be each person you're going to see. And wait until you see their faces, their demeanor. I mean, it's just they don't give two shits, guys. They care about themselves, and that's it. That's the aunt, by the way. All right, let's just go a little bit. Okay. All right, listen, there's the monster. That is the woman, the monster that should have protected Jacqueline Mimi Torres. All right.
She is a lifelong resident of the state of Connecticut.
She's disgusting.
Currently employed, some high school education reported for our office. Those substance use issues, but some mental health issues have been reported. With regards to cases, no pending matters, Your Honor. Last conviction is April 2019, again out of New Britain, assault to the third degree. She was placed on a 1 year suspended, 2 years probation. No other criminal record found for Ms. Garcia. In regards to this matter, bond was set at $5 million. That bond appears appropriate. I recommend.
Now, this wicked witch, guys, pretended to be the loving, caring mother while her daughter was already deceased. They remember that they had this little girl deceased and they kept her in their basement. All right. After they were done keeping her in the basement, they moved and they took the body with them and then ultimately dumped her like trash in a bin inside of in the backyard of an abandoned home. All right. She's crying because she knows she's never getting out. I bet. She looks dirty and like trash. She belongs with the trash, and her daughter didn't.
That bond remained as set. Turning over.
Mm-hmm.
The court did reconvene in the matter. Given the facts and circumstances of the case, the nature of the charges, she is asking that bond remain as set at $5 million.
$5 million.
Special conditions of no contact with Jonathan, Anita, or Jacqueline Garcia. No contact with NG, date of birth April 25th, 2014. JN, date of birth April 2nd, 2021. MN, date of birth September 22nd, 2022. And AN, date of birth January 7th, 2025. She is requesting that, again, she be ordered to cooperate with the DCF investigation and that this bond be posted only at court.
We'll do our best. I don't know why they allowed her to wear that to court, y'all. That should be a crime in itself for what she's wearing. My eyeballs are gonna fall out, guys. This is just a nasty, rotten potato. All right. She's no better than Jen Soto. And I agree, Jazz. I agree. All right. And thank you guys, everybody that just came in here. I appreciate you. Hit that like button and share with your community. Yes, I said it. That should be a crime to have to look at that. My eyeballs are burning out of my head right now. She fed herself and starved her daughter. Show some respect, lady. Cover up that belly of yours. She is a crime. What's up, Lynn? Good to see you. She's a muffin. She's an evil muffin. Get it together. Hey, Selena. Good to see you. Listen, this hearing just happened yesterday on October 14th. Sabrina, this happened in Connecticut. All right. New Britain, Connecticut. Just days ago, they found little Jacqueline Torres's body. They supposed that she was dead for almost a year. All right. These evil monsters kept their daughter's body in the basement and then dumped her like trash. And this is part 2 of the episode. So go back to part 1, watch this, and then go back to part 1 if you would. Yes, that's the so-called mother.
The time between now and November 14th is excluded for purposes of calculating the time of the probable cause hearing. Must be held. Set bond at $5 million cash.
$5 million. Get out of here.
No contact conditions as requested by the state. Bond is going to be ordered Connecticut Act court only. Again, I'm not going to order that she cooperate with DCF to the extent that such or her may implicate the privilege against self-incrimination. Matters transferred to Part A and continued to November 14th.
It was what she was wearing when she got arrested. Almost a year, Clover. All right, and guys, I'm gonna just make a quick supposition about this. I'm gonna make a supposition that not only did they mentally and physically abuse her, I think that she was also sexual abused by this guy, and it added up. The jealousy between her mom and them starving her, and then it exploded. All right, they took her life. They evaded DCF, they evaded school, they put her on homeschool, they evaded the father, they evaded the family. Some of her family hadn't seen her for 2 years. And then that momster pretended like she was a grieving, caring mother, all while the little girl's body was in the basement, then the trunk of the car, and then the backyard of an abandoned house, which he dumped, by the way. He was the one that dumped her there. 12 years old, forever 12.
Yes, Your Honor. So Mr. Nanita is 30 years old. He's currently home.
Now, if you guys just came here and you weren't here yesterday or the day before, we did part 1. And in part 1, rumor had it that this piece of trash had killed him or took his own life. This guy put out there on social media that his life had ended and he was gone, dead and gone, when in fact he was evading the police. He was running. He had a stolen car. He got in 2 accidents and within hours, and then he either got into a fight because of that, someone beat him up, but I don't think it was in jail. I think it was prior to that scuffle with the police and accidents. All right, and he rightfully so, he deserves it.
In the Britain area, has resided in Connecticut his entire life. No means of support. Some high school education reported. Denied any substance use or mental health issues. In regards to the matters, he has a warrant.
That's coming next.
New Britain Police Department. Date of the warrant is October 11th of this year. Destroying or tampering with evidence. The bond on that matter is $750,000. So again, that's still up.
Now, guys, just to laugh a little bit, it's true though. Doesn't he look like Dumb and Dumber? Look at his hair. He's got those. I don't know if he's going bald or what, but he done combed his hair forward and decided on that haircut there. So, you know, we can see who he is a little more. What a piece of garbage.
Most recent
cockroach.
December 9th of 2022 out of New Britain, interfering 364 days jail consecutive.
Let it go.
First degree on the same file again, 364 days jail consecutive. He also had a violation of probation. The probation was terminated on that same date. Underlying charge was burglary in the first degree. He pled out in that in 2014 out of GA 15. It's 12 years after 6 years to serve 5 years probation. Again, another violation of probation when the probation was terminated the same date, December 9th of 2022.
No, it's not.
Charge was burglary in the second degree,
Nope.
5 years jail concurrent. Larceny first on that file, which was originally 12 years after 6 years to serve, 5 years probation. In addition, he had another burglary, second degree conviction in 2015. On this matter, same thing. The bond was set at $5 million.
You're right. He sure does have a purty mouth, don't you think, gentlemen? The gentlemen are going to say that in jail. You sure do have a purty mouth. Just comb your hair forward and let's go. We don't even need to lube that bad boy up.
Appears appropriate. Recommend that these step on remain as set.
Your Honor, did review this warrant given the facts and circumstances of the case, the nature of the charges, this kind of criminal history. State is asking that bond remain as set at $5 million. State is asking for non-financial conditions of release. Defendant have no contact with Karla Garcia Jacqueline Garcia.
None.
The defendant had no contact with NG, date of birth April 25th, 2014. No contact with JN, date of birth April 2nd, 2021.
She looks annoyed.
No contact with MN, date of birth September 22nd, 2022. And no contact with AN, date of birth January 7th, 2025. That the defendant be ordered to cooperate with any DCF investigation and that this bond be posted only at court.
He's unemployed. He's homeless right now. He's generally
Unemployed and homeless.
He has no means to make any kind of a bond. We would ask for reasonable bond to be set. I'm going to echo Attorney O'Neill's request that he not be ordered to cooperate with DCF.
Attorney Longwell understands that he has right to the probable cause hearing. Are you prepared to have the court set a date for that probable cause hearing today?
Right.
We're not, Judge, but we are willing to reduce the legal time.
Just put it down and then chop it off.
I'm going to be continuing this to November 14th.
November 14th.
My understanding is you have no objection to the time between now and November 14th. Being excluded for purposes of calculating the time within which
Yes, he's a winner.
Okay.
He's unemployed and homeless.
Tuesday or keep it on Friday.
We're going to keep it on November 14th.
Understood.
And new tonight, a woman who claims to be one of the
All right, claims to be, and she is. All right, listen, guys, we got more to go, so let's do it. I'm going to start off quickly for those that just walked in and those that are here. Let me just give you a quick timeline on what the hell happened here. All right, let's go. And then we're going to listen to the grandparents, what they have to say. I've got text messages from the momster that claimed to be a grieving mother. No such luck here. Welcome in, guys. Anybody that came in, welcome to the clown show. We've got cockroaches, we've got clowns, we've got this Dumb and Dumber guy, and they're all intermixed within this circus. So buckle up. Let's keep going. Now, here's the timeline so far.
Anger in the courtroom as 3 suspects accused of the murder of a 12-year-old girl face a judge for the first time. Thanks for joining us tonight for the news at 11. I'm Keisha Grant.
And I'm Mike Hydek. Those 3 suspects remain locked up tonight, charged in connection with the death of 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres Garcia. There has been so many developments since her remains were found 1 week ago.
NBC Connecticut's Jane Chaco joins us live in New Britain tonight. Jane, walk us through the timeline of this case.
All right, guys, pay attention. You're going to have a quiz after class. All right, we did story time with Jay, and now we might do a quiz. So get your pencils and papers out because the circus is in town and we're writing it down. All right, let's go. All right, timeline. Pay attention.
Keisha, Mike, it's a story that has shaken the New Britain community and has left so many with questions. And tonight, the Beehive Bridge is lit up in blue in honor of that little girl, and she is being remembered by so many loved ones. This is Jacqueline Torres Garcia, known as Mimi. Here she is at 5th grade graduation, wearing her favorite color, blue.
She was happy all the time.
I have to stop and look at this one more time, guys. She's a beautiful little angel. For those of you that haven't been here, please say a quick prayer for Jacqueline Torres. They called her Mimi. Guys, this just hits way too close to home and why I'm so passionate about these cases that I cover. My daughter is in 5th grade right now. That 5th grade, my daughter's in 5th grade, and I cannot imagine what they did to her. We're looking at this picture of her in 5th grade. She didn't make it past. They said they took her out in 6th grade. All right, she's beautiful. Why did they do that? Why did they beat her, starve her? Prayers, guys, prayers. All right, let's get into the timeline. So for those that don't want to rewind right now.
Favorite color, blue.
She was happy all the time.
Thank you.
Real happy. She liked to play.
She attended kindergarten through 5th grade in New Britain, according to the school district. On August 26, 2024, Jacqueline would have started 6th grade, but her mother, Karla Garcia, filed notices withdrawing her from school to start homeschool. Police believe Jacqueline was physically abused and malnourished before her death in fall of 2024. They think her body was kept in the basement of an apartment in Farmington and was moved when the family relocated to New Britain in March 2025.
Again, there's the timeline, but I'm going to have to correct it at some point when they say fall of 2024. I think that is incorrect. Everybody's saying that, but we'll go with it for right now until we can correct it. They just went vague because they really don't know what the last proof of life was. And I'm going to tell you why they don't know when the proof of life was, is because her momster was pretending like she was alive by using other children and taking pictures of them to show, oh yeah, that's her, sending pictures of shoes and clothes and pretending like it was her. All right. So her proof of life was other children, fake pictures. They did try to reach out to her. They did try to do all of that, and she evaded them. She moved, she lied, everybody failed her, and I'm not on purpose, I'm sure.
Months go by, and Jacqueline's grandmother told us in Spanish she never saw her.
Siempre decía que Jacqueline no nos quería ver cuando era mentira.
On October 8th, a 911 call comes in reporting people dropping off items, including a plastic storage bin, in the backyard of an abandoned property on Clark Street in New Britain. Police find human remains inside.
This is where it started days ago on October 8th. We're on October 15th, 2025. October 8th kicked it all off when they found the plastic bin with her remains.
2 days later, on October 10th, police came out saying the remains belonged to a young girl. Family members told us they were Jacqueline's. Then family, friends, and strangers started leaving candles and stuffed animals on Clark Street, creating a memorial. On October 12th, police arrest Jacqueline's mother, Karla Garcia, charging her with murder. Her sister, Jacqueline Garcia, was also arrested, charged with risk of injury to a child and cruelty to persons. The next day, police held a press conference calling this case heartbreaking and disturbing.
35 years, this is probably one of the worst cases that we've had.
Police said they were still looking for Karla Garcia's boyfriend, Jonathan Nanita. On October 13th, police arrested and charged him with murder. Our cameras caught him being put into a state police cruiser, leaving New Britain PD.
There you go. So you can't, let's see if we see the bruises, guys. I don't see all of those bruises. Maybe, yeah, I do see a little bit. Let's look closely. You guys tell me. I like seeing him get locked up, though. So let's look a little close and see if we do see that. All right. Let's keep going. And then the grandparents speak, and then there's a vigil as well.
Looking for Karla Garcia's boyfriend, Jonathan Nanita. On October 13th, police arrested and charged him with murder. Our cameras caught him being put into a state police cruiser, leaving New Britain PD.
Given the facts and circumstances of the case, the nature of the charges.
The next day, October 14th, all three appeared before a judge for the first time.
Yesterday.
Family of Jacqueline Torres Garcia packed the courtroom, emotional at the sight of her alleged killers.
And all three are expected back in court on November 14th. And the details linking them to the abuse and murder have not been made public yet. Those warrants remain sealed for the next 2 weeks. In New Britain, Jane Chaco, NBC.
All right, let's get to the paternal grandparents, the vigil, and all the other little details of this case that we don't want to leave out. All right, so let's get to that. I really want to give the grandparents a say in this. And
tonight,
you guys,
the story continues to develop.
sorry about that. That got really loud because everything else was low. Hold on. Let's try this. Grandparents speak out.
New Britain, where the body of 11-year-old Jacqueline Torres Garcia was found behind a home nearly 1 week ago.
No end.
Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10.
His name is Jonathan, which is also really annoying, guys. All right. 3 people charged in connection went before the judge. That was yesterday. Karla's boyfriend, Jonathan, both charged murder in special circumstances. All right. So there they are. And then we're going to go into what the grandparents say. We just watched this, so I'm not going to keep doing this. These people are just trash. And I hope they get as long as the judge deserves, they thinks they deserve. I hope they're really hard on them for what they did, because they were hiding her for almost a year. They were evading schools, evading police, evading the welfare system, evading everybody purposely. All right. That's why they also were charged with conspiracy. Okay.
Well, tonight we have team coverage of the case. Fox 61's Annette Montgomery is looking into similar cases that we've seen in Connecticut in the past.
But we begin with Fox 61's Valerie Moravi live in New Britain at a growing memorial to honor 11-year-old Mimi. Valerie, Mimi's grandparents were in court today, and tonight we're hearing more about the girl. What do you have for us?
Ooh, that's loud.
Yes, Brent, that is correct. Well, Jacqueline Torres Garcia's paternal grandparents told me early Tuesday they started to feel that they were seeing justice being made for their little Mimi. And Tuesday evening, we saw several more people coming from out of town to visit Jackie's memorial site after hearing Jacqueline's story.
Now, listen, right after this, I'm going to read you those text messages that came from the mom, allegedly. All right. Somebody went in and did there's a Kimberly Woods in Connecticut with What's the Topic. And she went in to do an interview with the mom, right? She went in to go talk about Mimi and the body that was found. And she thought she was talking to a grieving mother. Listen what she has to say after this, okay?
When I heard about it, it hurt, and I'm a mom myself. So hearing that the mom did it, it was very hurtful. She was just a little girl, and I just wanted to pay my respect.
Now here's one of many visitors who came to Jacqueline's memorial site as soon as she heard the news.
You know who did that, Clover D? Letitia Stout, or Letitia. You know that she did that, right? She took a picture of what is his name? Why am I blanking on Letitia Stout, the victim's name? Anyway, you guys will tell me in a minute. She took a picture of him when he was already passed away and pulled the blankets up, and Gannon Stout. Thank you. Gannon Stout, Letitia Stout. She did that. She took a picture of him when he was already supposedly dead. It's terrible. That is an awful case. I hope Letitia burns in hell for that. Seriously. Gannon Stout. Yes, I remembered. Thank you, ladies.
When I found out, I was crying all day. My heart goes out to her family.
Jacqueline's paternal grandparents told me Tuesday they were in the courtroom as Jacqueline's mother, her boyfriend, and sister were charged with multiple counts. Patricia and her husband, Felix Delgado, say justice is being served. In a previous interview, they told us how much they loved the little Mimi and the times they fought for her custody. The mom's boyfriend always knew Jackie was being abused, but he never said anything.
What?
He even had my son's phone number, but he never called to let us know.
What?
I used to always ask her to let me see the girl, but she always refused, saying that Mimi was her daughter, not mine. Now again, Jacqueline's grandparents also told us that they have submitted a petition to demolish this abandoned building to build a memorial park so that little Mimi's memory lives on forever.
Now remember, that's what the father wants as well. All right. These are the father's parents. Thank you. It says the paternal grandparents and it didn't say the father, but I appreciate that. All right. Let's keep going. Let's take a look at those text messages because I really want you to see Jen Soto 2.0 in this situation. All right. So let me put this up for just a second while I bring this one down for you. And let's just take a look at those text messages. I'm trying to bring you content that you guys have not seen today on any of the channels. All right. And I don't think that you've seen any of this on any channel. So let me bring these up. Thank you. Thank you to Tiff for bringing those to me. I'm just going to share this real quick. All right. This is Facebook. We looked at Facebook yesterday. There's a lot of different groups, a lot of people doing the sleuth. So this is all alleged. All right. So this person says this is one of the hardest interviews I had to do, but it was worth it. All right. Sorry, I clicked out. Justice served. But what I found out shocked my soul when I found out baby Mimi was not only dead, allegedly since September 19th, 2024, but also Karla had another child pretending to be her during a wellness check, right? Remember, she had another sister, so she used the sister to pretend like it was her. They did a wellness check. So when you guys are asking all the questions, why didn't they check on her? How come the school didn't know? Where was the dad? Yes, there's some failure on their part, but the mom was pretending to be the daughter with the other daughter and taking pictures and being evasive and moving and lying. Okay, so they did try, but it didn't hit. All right, it didn't hit, and everything everything obviously snowballed, and it was too late, right? Too late. Now listen. Okay, so Karla pretended to use her other child during a wellness check. She says, I knew this interview was taking a left turn. Thank you to my best friend Vanessa for being the co-host and asking questions we needed to find out. I was being played like a flute, where I thought I was helping an abused, terrified mom to clear her name. And then I realized I was in the face of a stone cold murder. Justice for Mimi. All right. This one says Forever 11 because they're supposing that she wasn't alive, but people saw her on her 12th birthday, and they say shortly after they didn't. So I am not going to make that supposition that she's Forever 11. Now let's take a look here. That was in 5th grade. That school picture was 5th grade. She was already in 6th grade, and they had her on independent study. They pulled her out of school, and they moved and moved and moved. All right, let's take a look. Let me just read these quickly to you. All right. We'll get through them real quick so we can continue and finish this episode. Okay, so it says Gretchen neighbor. So this person was communicating with the mom, and the mom was pretending to be a grieving mother. We just saw the evil momster in court on a $5 million bond being charged with her death and a conspiracy. Okay. Tiff, you did not, I don't think these are in order though. So I'm just going to start here because I don't know the order. They're all backwards. All right, listen. It says, hey, my best friend is here. Don't worry if I saw you two guys coming. That's her husband and his best friend. They're going to help with the recording since I couldn't have a cameraman. Okay, I'm on a phone call. Give me a few. Okay, no worries. We just want to go over the questions with you and see how you want to do the lineup. If you want to say what you sent me first, and then we ask questions, or you want us to ask the questions and then you say what you were going to say, what happened. Okay, so the blue is the person interviewing the mom. All right, the blue's the person interviewing, and the gray is the mom pretending to be a grieving mother. Janet Kelly is a hard he supporter. Huh, I missed something. All right. Anyways, while I have you guys here, hit that like button, subscribe, click all notifications, and get a membership if you can. I think we're only a couple away from our goal at this point. Thank you. All right. Okay, so interviewer blue, grieving fake mom in gray. All right. She says, okay, yes, I'd like to organize and review everything before we even do it. I'm scared for my life, but I have to clear my name. Okay, the mom's pretending like she's scared for her life, but she actually is scared for her life because people want to see her harmed and they want to harm her. So she was trying to clear her name before she was arrested. Now, this interviewer says, don't be scared for your life. You're in a building, you're safe. She says, okay, I'll be there in a few. Tomorrow at 5, the interviewer says, my cameraman coming to my house. You need to get clear your name. It's getting bad. Let me know you're innocent and your boyfriend is the true villain. So she's blaming on her boyfriend. A lot of people want to hurt you and tarnish your name, but I can help clear your name. The evil momster says, thank you. No worries. This is so effed up, but I'll try my absolute best to get your name cleared. Now the momster says, first, I want to apologize to my daughter for failing her as a mother and being afraid to speak to anyone about the situation we are going through. If you have been a victim of domestic violence, you'd be afraid as well when someone is threatening to kill you and your other kids if you speak being mentally, physically. All right. Then the interviewer says to ask questions and you can say what happened. Okay, yes, I'd like to organize and review. Don't be scared. Okay, wait, we already saw that one. Would you feel better if me and my friend came up to talk privately before we turned on the camera? She says yes. Through the front or the back? She says the back. We at the back. I'm coming. All right. And then this is the rest of the message that says she's blaming Jonathan, purdy mouth guy, Dumb and Dumber. She's blaming him for physically and mentally abusing her. She said she was mentally, physically, and verbally abused every single day, not knowing what to do or who to tell, who to be afraid of. Yes, I was wrong for not speaking up, but speaking up, but Victor, where were you when your kids needed you? So now she's blaming the father. Yes, they gave me full custody because you never showed up for your kids. We had 3 court dates. You didn't show up to 1. You say you've seen your daughter for her birthday, and that's a lie. You haven't seen your daughter for more than 3 months because you were too busy building a future for yourself instead of actually taking your time to actually wonder if something going on. You haven't seen your daughter, as well as knowing everything I was going to go through. I was going to give you signs that I was in a domestic violence situation, but you ignored every sign. And for everyone else, you guys didn't look for my kids, not for holidays, not for birthdays, not even for a regular checkup to see if they are okay or needed anything. Had I had more support, I would have been not afraid to reach out. This bitch is blaming everybody but herself. All right. Now she continues to talk about being threatened if she kept asking if her daughter, this is my first daughter, the one that made me a mother. For months, I've been suffering. For months, I've been being abused. Not only me, but the kids, mentally, physically, and verbally. Now she goes to say on Wednesday, the first day of the situation, I was not arrested. I was being threatened and I feared for my life. So I stopped at the scene and I asked them to help me because I was being chased by people with guns. And this is exactly what I was afraid of. Being looked at like this. I did this. Being looked at like I did this when I did nothing but not speak when I was afraid. So part of not speaking up was being afraid. When I got to the police station, they told me that I was not arrested. They brought me in because they wanted to keep me safe and asked me questions as they should. Then they asked me if I wanted to speak to police, and I told them I had no problem speaking to them because I had nothing to hide. And I cooperated with everything because I knew I did nothing. I know I didn't put my daughter in that container. Okay, listen, this bitch is making me mad, and I hope she's pissing you guys off too. She's literally blaming it on her boyfriend. All right, the daughter was missing for a year. She was playing games. And not only is she not taking accountability, but you can see in the writing that she puts there that she's outright jealous of the husband for making a future, jealous of everybody and everything, and completely just blame, blame, blame. Mab investigates. Good to see you, my friend. It's nice to see you over here on our turf. All right, let's continue this. This is another Jen Soto 2.0. Right? If you missed something, then you guys missed the whole show today. So watch with me till the end. Go back and rewatch. And then there's also a part 1. All right. Now, thank you guys for being here. Don't forget to hit the like button when you come in. All right. So let me finish up these. We're still not done today. So this mom is blaming. Now, listen, she's trying to take any accountability by saying that she didn't put her daughter in the container and throw her like she's a piece of trash. She says, I'm grieving as well. I'm hurt. I lost my baby girl. There's nothing in this world that will ever make me accept the fact she's no longer here. My heart is broken for her siblings, her father, her family. I'm sorry I was afraid. I'm sorry I failed you. I want justice as much as everyone else. So please stop making fake news articles, making up stories involving people that have no fault in what's going on. No one knew what was going on. Most importantly, my sisters. So now she's trying to get her sister out of jail as well and take the accountability from them. Everyone has the right to grieve and hurt. Making up stories when there's no facts out there yet is not okay. Threatening and harassing me isn't okay. You guys want justice, but all over social media saying where I live, where I be, wanting to harm me, wanting me dead. I'm still a mother who lost her child, who was afraid of an abusive man who threatened her and her kid's life every day. Everyone who truly knows me knows I'm not capable. Well, listen up, fatty muffin top. You're twice as big as Jonathan in his freaking Dumb and Dumber haircut. You could have just swallowed him right up with your muffin top and nobody would have even known that he was gone. So get out of here with that nonsense. Good to see you, cheeky. All right, this muffin top wearing nasty, disgusting momsters blaming it on everyone but herself. Now she's talking about her getting hurt, people making up stories when there's no facts. Yet it's not okay threatening and harassing me. It's okay you guys want justice, but all over social media saying where I live, where I be wanting to harm me, want me dead. I'm still a mother who's afraid. All right, life every day. Okay, so this just continued. She just totally vented, and this lady said, "Are we still good for today? Or would you rather do it another day?" That's kind of funny. Sorry. I think we should do it tomorrow. I've been having such a bad day. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, have your daughter's body in the what the not, I want to call it the attic, but the basement for almost a year. She says, "What are your thoughts?" Hey, my best friend's here. Don't worry. I saw you two guys. If you saw two guys coming, that's her husband, her best friend. They're going to help me. All right. And then we go back to this, the interview. All right, guys. Woo, that was a lot. Muffin top fatty McFatty freaking could have swallowed that guy up, and yet she wants to blame everybody but herself, right? All right, I don't want to leave you guys on a blank screen, so let's keep going. Good to see you. I'm heated. I'm here, of course. Yeah, I'm just as heated, man. This lady's full of crap. All right, paternal family honors the girls who remain. All right, we're gonna watch. They got a ride to 20 hours ago, the vigil. Let's take a look at the ride. Hold on, ride to take place in honor of Jacqueline. Let me lower this a little because now all of a sudden it's really loud. All right, let's share this. All right, here's in honor of the little Jacqueline, guys.
The attention of our viewers here in Western Mass, a 12-year-old Connecticut girl murdered, and now family members are charged with her death. Thanks for joining us here on Western Mass News at 6. I'm Chris Pisano.
And I'm Amanda Mar. Our community is showing their support for the young victim. Madison, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Chris and Amanda, 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres was found dead in a storage container in New Britain, Connecticut. And that devastating story making its way up here to Western Massachusetts, where a ride out is taking place this weekend to shed light on her life.
Awesome. I think the facts that you have, that she probably died a long time ago and was stowed away, is probably enough to show you what we are dealing with here.
According to Connecticut police, Jacqueline Torres, also known as Mimi, murdered in Farmington last fall. Her body was kept in a plastic container for a full year before being dumped behind an abandoned house in New Britain just last week. Police said they believe Jacqueline suffered prolonged abuse and malnourishment before her death. Police also claiming that the 3 people responsible for this crime include the girl's mother, Karla Garcia, and her aunt, Jacqueline Garcia. The third suspect is Jonathan Nanita, who police say was Karla Garcia's boyfriend. And today, all 3 suspects appeared in court. Karla Garcia and Nanita were charged with murder, first-degree unlawful restraint, risk of injury to a child, tampering with physical evidence, conspiracy to commit murder, intentional cruelty to a child, and improper disposal of a body. Their bonds were set at $5 million.
Now, that's a good question. I think that abandoned house was an abandoned house, but they didn't talk about it being like a terrible area or anything in Connecticut. So it's really hard to tell. Maybe somebody local could tell us, is that a really bad area? Mab says, I just turned my trailer upside down so I can coat the bottom with a bed liner. I missed something. Yeah, the guy was beat up in several ways, including a stolen car accident. All right. Yeah, dang that. But I think so too. I do think that those people are tweakers as well. D-rug addicts. All right. That's what I think. All right.
Jacqueline Garcia was charged with child cruelty, first-degree unlawful restraint, and risk of injury to a child, and her bond was set at $1 million.
This case is a deeply heartbreaking and disturbing case. Our detectives, with our local and state partners, have worked tirelessly to uncover the truth and to bring justice for Jacqueline. No child should ever have to endure such suffering.
As police continue to investigate, the Department of Child and Families confirmed that Jacqueline's siblings are safe and in their custody. Torres' devastating story touching the hearts of communities all the way here in Western Mass. This Saturday, folks will be meeting at 77 West Street in Springfield before driving 40 miles to where Mimi was tragically found in New Britain. A Facebook post about the ride reads in part, "Let's ride out to New Britain and show support to this family all the way from Massachusetts. We will be driving out to where Mimi was found, bring candles, balloons, stuffed animals, anything you'd like to place in honor of Mimi."
If you or anyone you know is interested in participating in this weekend's ride out, it will be meeting right here at the Plainfield Pride at 77 West Street in Springfield, and it's slated for 11 a.m. this Saturday. And everyone...
And this is current, guys, so if you want to go check it out and you're in that area, you certainly can. It is this Saturday. They speculate that she was dead and gone for almost a year, and they hid her in their basement for a while, for months and months, until they moved in March. Then they took the body. Yeah, they're speculating up to a year. They hid the body in the basement. Then they moved in March from the time that she was supposedly not alive, and then they took the body to their new place. And then up until days ago, they dumped her in the backyard of an abandoned house, and they pull her inside of a blue tub inside of a shed. All right, it gets crazy. Yeah, but that area, I'm sure there's some low-income housing, apartments, etc. All right, let's keep going. What's up, Virginia? Just got here. Hello. All right, let's yeah, you guys can go do that. Let me just show you the paternal family and the memorial they had, and then I have one other thing. I have a lot more actually, but we're gonna
get back.
We'll end on that today. Let's go to the paternal family honoring her, and they say the girl remains Jacqueline Mimi Torres. Okay, let's watch this together. They built a memorial and the family arrived. Lots of people did.
The family is calling this an outrageous, horrific, and unspeakable tragedy. And Monday, dozens of people from across Connecticut and even from out of state have traveled all the way to this memorial site on Clark Street to pay tribute to Jacqueline Torres Garcia, who was believed to be 11 when she died. A heartbreaking tribute to a life cut far too short.
You know, it's sad, you know, like that, you know, it takes this for a community to get together.
A memorial filled with candles, flowers, and stuffed animals continued to grow Monday evening outside the abandoned house where Jacqueline Torres Garcia was found. Also known as Mimi or Jackie, her death touched the hearts of dozens of people who didn't even know her. Maria Flores says she came to the memorial to pay her respects.
It always takes a tragic thing like this for people to get together. You know,
now listen, everybody, in my opinion, failed this child, but Lori Lowe, the family did. The extended family, the father, if you go back and watch either part 1 or the beginning of this and then part 1, they did, and they slipped through the cracks. I didn't know that Connecticut doesn't have any kind of policies on homeschooling. So if you want to get away with something, you go to Connecticut, put your child in homeschool, and there are no types of laws. So I'm speculating that she was kept in the basement in a freezer or a fridge of some sort, because there's no way you can have a body in a house for that long without somebody smelling it. So I don't think that she was not on ice, so to speak. And I hate to say it that way, but yeah, every turn that you looked, she was failed.
I didn't know personally the little girl, Mimi.
I know, right?
Touched people's heart.
New Britain police say her remains were found on October 8th in a plastic storage bin at this home on Clark Street. The gruesome discovery was strongly felt within the family, who remember Mimi as a loving, smart, and larger-than-life little girl. Her paternal grandparents, Patricia and Felix Osorio Delgado, shared this video.
Now you see the video there with the grandparents. Look at how beautiful and big that she already was when they did see her at 11 years old, right? She looked healthy. She looked happy. Jen says, I live 15, 20 minutes. Everyone here knows about this. Man, prayers. Share this with them, Jen, and let me know if I got something wrong. All right. All right, let's continue.
With me of Mimi and one of her 4 siblings. They told me in Spanish they're still trying to make sense of this tragedy as they fight for justice.
4 siblings.
Esta noticia
The news came as
Listen, she had 4 siblings, guys. There was this little angel, Jacqueline Torres, and then the sibling that both parents had together, and then 2 other. So that was one of 4 siblings. All right, I think they said one of 4. Oh my goodness. All right, let's continue.
shock.
Pues todavía estoy en un momento
I'm still trying to process it
que
all.
no lo
I still can't believe it.
Estoy en un momento de que no lo creo.
We don't know.
I know God is helping me to process the loss.
A pasar este proceso.
So queremos.
We want to build a memorial park here.
Yeah.
We'll demolish this building and remodel it. That's our wish. Now, as the Delgados try to process the shocking loss, they tell me their fight for justice is not over yet. Not again, they tell me they have submitted a petition to demolish this building, to build a memorial park to honor little Mimi. In New Britain, Valerie Moravi, Fox 61.
Man, I don't think that's going to happen, guys. I doubt that's going to happen, that they're going to demolish that, but we'll see what happens. This is in Connecticut, and let me show you something else. So now we're looking at Connecticut, right? We're looking at Connecticut, and we're looking at the cases of child abuse. Now we're going back to 2023, and we're looking at New Britain, Waterbury, New London, and Hartford, and some abuse cases that now brought to the attention these people that missed everything. And they missed it because their laws aren't built for homeschool. They haven't changed anything or done anything. All right, I'm not going to do this one. We already did this, but I got one more clip to show you. I got a lot, but we're going to finish off with this next one here. Looking back at Connecticut and them understanding that things need to change, all right, based on these other child abuse cases that people just got away with it and nothing happened. Nobody was caught. Nobody saw anything. That's the reason laws are made, and they haven't been in this area. Kimberly Mann, thank you so much for this $3 super sticker towards our guilty of crime goal today. I appreciate you. You said very liberal state. Okay. All right, let's finish this up. Thank you guys all for being here today. How didn't the family notice her gone if she was gone this long? Well, Jess, my friend, please do go back and watch this from the beginning. Even more so, go back to part 1 from 2 days ago. The family did try. Everyone did try, and for some reason, they didn't try hard enough. All right. They didn't notice because, listen, I want to tell you guys, these 3 monsters were charged with the death of Jacqueline Torres, but they were also charged in the conspiracy of covering it up. So they were actively covering it up by putting her in homeschool, avoiding the family, sending pictures, fake pictures of a different child that wasn't even her. So Jess, that's how they did that. All right, that's how they evaded. There was a conspiracy involved. All right.
Back in 2023 and in 2017, investigators say a 17-year-old boy from Hartford died from child abuse and neglect. In all 4 of these cases, police say the children were homeschooled.
Some information that's come forward between being removed from one school and entering another to being homeschooled.
New Britain police say Jacqueline Mimi Torres Garcia had been documented as homeschooled, which made it difficult to realize she was missing. Now a new change.org petition is calling for state lawmakers.
So if you're still here, Jess, that's how. What you're seeing in this clip is how they evaded police, how they evaded the school, how they evaded the family, and not just them. 3 other cases in Connecticut, the same thing. Thank you so much, Mav. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the $4.99 towards our goal. She looked beautiful in those pics, very healthy. But in between the time of 5th grade and those pictures, you got to remember she was being raised by another family member for the last or the previous 8 years, guys. 8 years. All right. So if you guys could go back and rewatch this, I gave you the whole lowdown earlier and then in part 1. If you don't want to watch part 1, that's fine. Just go back to the beginning of this episode and you'll see what I'm saying. All right. It's story time with Jay.
Makers to create Mimi's Law in honor of Jacqueline. It calls for in-person welfare checks for homeschooled children and wants to mandate DCF is held accountable when repeated concerns go uninvestigated. Those requests are similar to the recommendations the Office of the Child Advocate, an independent state oversight agency, suggested 8 years ago in the case of 17-year-old Matthew Tirado from Hartford. He died in February of 2017 from what police say was prolonged child abuse and neglect. Police say his mother took him out of school.
I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to move this. So you guys see the trend that's happening here, and with little Mimi, they're understanding where their failure is now.
And reported he was being homeschooled, only to later find out he was being abused, and DCF reports had been filed prior to his death. An OCA investigative report from 2017 showed back then there was, quote, an inadequate framework in Hartford and statewide for ensuring the safety of and education for children who are withdrawn from school.
So do you see what happened there for everybody that said, how did they miss it? Where was the failure? That's where the big part of the failure was, along with the conspiracy. Now, Jen, thank you so much for sending a message. Now you know how to get in contact with me. I covered that in part 1. I do have that video. I have the full video in part 1, and I also have it in my video section of just the arrest. All right. So thank you. And I do have it. I appreciate you.
To be homeschooled.
When we don't see them, when kids are not coming to school, we need to know more about why.
That was Sarah Egan, the executive director of the Center for Children's Advocacy, in December 2017. Back then, she worked for the OCA, and we spoke with her about Matthew's case and why having no regulations for homeschooling is concerning.
It leads to circumstances where certain children are withdrawn from school and the visibility of the community and denied an education. That is the unintended consequence of having no regulation.
As no regulations, guys. The OCA said school district officials should internally assess whether they need to notify DCF if a parent decides to withdraw their child from school and welfare concerns have already been raised. The agency also said the Public Defender's Office, Attorney General's Office, and the judicial branch should review current state law and procedure to determine how best to strengthen the safety net for children. And when the OCA released those recommendations back in 2017, the agency said it wasn't hope of preventing what happened to Matthew Tirado from happening again. Now,
And it still happened. And then we had COVID in 2020, and all that's where everything just let loose. So anyhow, thank you guys for being here. Hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends. Jen, I just sent you part 1 in the email. Choo choo. Rosie said choo choo. And I hope you guys kind of get the, for the new people that are here, see how my brain works and how I present true crime to you. I like to give you the story and tell you all the details, show the family, and then wrap it up with what's happening, with laws changing, etc. So we got part 2 now, part 1 before, and there we go. Little Jacqueline Mimi Torres' story.
I'm set to speak with Egan about what's happened in the last 8 years and where the state goes from here. I will have that tomorrow night at 10 right here on Fox 61. In the studio, Annette Montgomery, Fox 61.
All right. I'm glad that you guys see how my brain works, especially for the creators like Mab. You know, that's what I did before I became a creator. I would watch everybody's content and then take a look at what I didn't like and what I did like, and then I put my own spin on things. So Mo Preciado, thank you so much for being a member for 9 months. Keeping a child from a loving family is a form of child abuse, in my opinion. It's like they say, it takes a village, and kids need their village. I agree. All right, y'all. Suzanne, thank you. Sadie's mama, Mab, Deborah, Clar, Mary Carswell, all of you. And thank you, Mab. I appreciate you. I also am very creative, and we do products. We come up with and design products at our company here in Silicon Valley, Mab. So I like your style as well. All right, y'all. I will be back tomorrow 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what's in store for you tomorrow. I've got lots of cases for you. Oh, Wyatt, I never forget you, my guy. Big hugs to you. Much love. Hope you're doing well. I will see you guys tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to share, like, and if there's an option, do me a favor and hype my videos up. You get 3 hypes a day, and I'd be nice if you would spend at least one on Guilty of Crime, all right? Love you guys. Appreciate you all. Thank you. And yeah, be safe. I'm out.
Guilty of Crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of Crime.
Are you guilty of crime?